Hello and good evening. We are hanging out in Scarhold, about to leave Scarhold because it's time for the Black Book of Mordor, Chapter 10.1, A New Journey. I'm your hostess tonight, as always. I'm Druidsfire, like the name says. My co-host, hi. Thief Kitty would love to say hello to you, except he's currently ensconced on the top of his chair. Right? Which, of course, I can then spin around and have Kitty on camera. Hi. Otaku, hello. How are you? So yesterday I was on the official Lotro channel. Always fun to be on the official. Except I'm not supposed to swear on the official. However, we're being hosted by the official right now, so I promise I will try not to swear. You're alright? Good to hear. I had a very busy day filling out all of the job applications. The job search has not been going well so far. I have had the privilege of being a little bit picky with it in the past. That is soon coming to an end. But I did have the pleasure of writing a cover letter for a company. I'm not going to, of course, say who they are. But I was happy to be able to mention my tabletop career in the cover letter, which is really cool. So I am on, as you can tell, my alt on Landreval, a member of the Lonely Mountain Band. And nobody is chatting in kin chat right now, which is good. However, got a beautiful mail from our kin founder, Galanier, whom I have met in real life, because he, of course, is a real-life musician.
I am sorry to see you go, but I understand Gandalf's reasoning.
Okay. The Weeping Warrior has been shamed by our wizard, because if you remember, the last stream on Wednesday, Karazgar got knocked on his dang butt. See, notice I censored myself. By one Master Gandalf, who's lurking back there in the background. And it was a glorious sight to see. When I remember the first time I ever played through that content, I thought it was the best thing ever. But then again, this is the Black Book of Mordor, crafted by Master Maid of Lions, who is a really awesome dude. Whom I've had the privilege of meeting a couple of times. And I can tell you, without a doubt, he gives the best hugs of anybody I know at Sanding Stone Games. Sorry, Cord. He just goes through life with, like, this enthusiasm. Like, the dude was literally bouncing in his chair, like, the first time I got to meet him. He was, like, talking about something. He was so excited about what he was talking about that he was literally bouncing in his chair. I'm like, we are really... I don't really... I kind of have the feeling that the Lotro player base doesn't really realize, they don't really understand how passionate our dev team is for this game. Because, you know, to be fair, you don't actually get to see them in their daily, you know, life and to see what they're riffing on. But it's cool. Anyway, we have been instructed to go talk to King Thranduil in Felaggoth. So we're going to go to the Stable Master and hitch a ride to Felaggoth. Probably going through Erebor. And we're going to take our life into our own hand. You know what we're going to do? What we're going to do? Yeah, chat, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it! We're taking the swift elevator down to the Stable Master. Yes, we are gonna die. That's fine. So I wanted to go to the red circle. Which is actually further away than we were. Good Lord Almighty. Where is this red circle? Oh, it's here! I remember when the red circle used to be way the heck back there. But that was actually kind of funny. And I'll worry about summoning my dude later, because this is going to be a swift ride. One thing I also want to do is talk to Wenda Cranesbill here in a few minutes, so I can get my item. Yeah, I need to talk to her. So we're probably actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna cheat. We're gonna go back to Bree first. Because by the time I get done, my milestone back to Bree will be off of cooldown. So I hope everybody has had a decently relaxing Saturday. If you had to work, I'm sorry. However, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do to put the money on the table. And hey, look! Oh, that's right! Who's playing? I believe the Displaced are playing. Let's see who's out here. I see Kelly, see Orla, Founders of the Shire. Let's turn the names off. Yeah, it's Weeder! And of course, Miss Haha performing as the lead singer. And I see Tokely. And I don't know that person yet. That's really cool, but look at all these nice. Ooh, Starry Night. I love that character name. And Animal House, of course, will be playing later. Who else is here? Lucy is here. Tara, of course, is here. And Pippi is here. All kinds of fun people. Anyway, we're questing tonight. We'll be back to listen to music later on tonight. In fact, my character intends to listen to the BBB, as one should do, at midnight here on Langerball at the Prancing Pony. Give me things. Come on.
Hello there.
Thank you. Alright. Let us use that, and then use this. And put these two down here where I can find them. And while we're at it, let us browse the shop. Okay, we picked up this bracer last time. And I had chosen not to use it even though it was like eye level upgrade. Because while it does have higher might and significantly a little bit higher vitality, the loss of the finesse rating and crit rating are more of a concern to me, so we're skipping those. I see an Aiden alt just came online. I'm gonna save that. So we're actually gonna get, well, we're not gonna get rid of it yet. We're going to, well, we apparently can't use the soda and column. We're gonna save that. That's bound to me. Well, we just replace something with that. Nice. Alright, let's sell all this crap. Good times. Actually, I should use this on the Ashbringer. Why do I always keep forgetting that you can do this? You can use this little slidey bar up here to use as many of these things as you want. I forget how many. Let's see. Where are you at? Wow, I haven't actually imbued this yet. Well, so we should get silver up to level 100 so I can imbue it later. Anyway. Hope everybody has been having fun today. Alright, let's turn our nameplates back on. I'll turn them off later this evening when BBB is performing. But there is always a concert on many of the servers at many times of the day. Let's see. New outfits on the mannequins. Nothing I'm really interested in. Somebody's having fun over there. So we actually had a really good stream on Wednesday. I was actually rather happy with how many people turned out. Of course, we were discussing the big news in the universe, and wow, Chaotic Harmony's having fun over here. Let us go.
How can I be of service?
Again, we're going to Felagoth, which means we'll probably... Yeah, we'll need to go to Lake Town first. I wish Felagoth and Erebor were on the... Actually, I also wish the 21st Hall was on this Stable Master. Oh well, Lake Town it is. Doesn't actually matter if I go to Lake Town or to Dale, but it's just geographically quicker to go to Lake Town. So we had a really good discussion of the big old news of the week, which of course was the pending sale of Daybreak Games in Lock, Stock, and Barrel to Swedish gaming investing company Enad Global 7 or EG7. We went over a couple of things that they had published. One was the initial press release, which I thought was really intriguing. I'm going to hop on my regular horse because, of course, you can't ride war steeds inside Felagos, but you can ride regular horses. So in all, I think it's a good thing happening. One thing I really like is the immediate transparency and how well Lotro is doing. I also like the fact that they can identify that Lotro is ripe for opportunities for future growth, and that growth looks like it's going to be contingent upon them spending some money and putting some upgrades into this beloved game. And as I said on Wednesday, as long as they don't screw up the skybox, I'm good. Though, to be fair, there's many other things they could do to break things, but they're going to have to hire some folks, which is really exciting. Having more people in the dev team means more stuff gets done. Because I'm fairly sure, I mean, I think we all are aware that a lot of things are not getting done at Standing Stone because they simply don't have anybody to do them. And, you know, having things like your servers getting DDoSed and then the games being down for like 4 days straight, and then intermittent behavior over the next subsequent month and a half makes for a terrible game experience for all of us.
You have returned to my halls. Did your search come to naught?
Kind of. Oh, so Thranduil is happy that Gandalf knocked that guy in his butt. Alright, open the forest gates. And now we can legitimately pass to the Bjorning Lands because, of course, before we could not. Standing Stone had originally had an invisible gate there, invisible walls keeping us out, and then finally Scenario or Bakata put some... Why am I not riding my horse? Put some actual boulders in the way just to, you know, make it feel more real. Yes, you can't go that way, and now we can. Though, of course, this happened when they opened the Veils of Anduin and added this portion of the Black Book of Mordor to the party. It's kind of interesting to play through content that was originally written for when you just could leave for the very first time. Could go someplace and experience it for the very first time. TD's in with the waffles. Where are you playing tonight, TD? I know, of course, I'll be at the BBB show at midnight. That will not be on the stream because, for one, I hosted myself on the official account, and secondly, we're not allowed to stream concerts on the official anymore until at least the end of the month, probably longer. I'm on Landy getting XP. Well, I'm on Landy getting XP too. Okay. Do I want to... you know what? This is why swift travel was invented. I kind of wish they'd move the swift travel, or add a swift travel option to the forest gate. So of course, she can take you to various places, like, you know, Old Mirkwood and whatnot. And of course, the horse can take you to the ruins of Dol Guldur, which looks pretty cool, but still. What time of night is it? It is evening, so it's going to be dark for a while. But that's okay. We shine with the light of the Valar. We have our Alt F10 personal light going on here. Actually, I'm going to turn my tablet off because it is creating a little bit of a glare. It's also one reason why I don't have the key light on right now is the simple fact that it is too bright and it causes glare. I need to be able to see what I'm doing on the screen here, and this is a dark game right now. So I was actually debating what I was going to play tonight. You know, having spent my entire day doing job applications. Sucks, but necessary. Because I'm so far behind. Here's actually something really curious, is I've been playing World of Warcraft, and I played a lot of World of Warcraft during the pre-patch to the current expansion, Shadowlands. But other than playing like 2 nights on my main character after the Shadowlands launch, I haven't touched it. Meanwhile, everybody on social media is like, hey, look at this melt I got, look at this story I got. I've got 5 level 60 characters, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I kind of do feel a bit of, you know, FOMO going on, and it's like, well, I've already missed out. You know, these cool cinematic moments. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go read, you know, watch the cinematics on YouTube or whatever, because I'm never gonna get to see them unspoiled. Somebody's going to talk about them, so I might as well make sure that I just take care of it myself. And that kind of leads into the notion of spoilers in general. Is a very dear friend of mine, whom I respect and love a lot, with a magnificent beard, was recently very upset on social media about people spoiling, like, the most recent episode of The Mandalorian, which drops at like 3 a.m. my time, Wednesday nights into Thursday morning. Or is it Thursday into Friday? I remember watching it as soon as it came out, mainly because there's a couple of things. Spoilers for me are a little bit of a subject. Back in the day, I would be so furious if somebody mentioned spoilers, or actually dropped spoilers in where I could see them. But as time passed, I mean, like in a private venue such as playing a mush, well, let's use a more modern example. In kinship chat, for example, I don't want people talking about spoilers in kinship chat because some people may not have seen the thing, some people may not have read the book or whatever. And there's always the question, what is a spoiler, what isn't a spoiler? How long do you wait before you talk about it? And it's really... I've waffled on what my opinions are on spoilers. And also how angry one should get about being spoiled. And how much of a jerk are you for going out of your way? Like, is it considered spoiling other people if you're talking about it on your personal feed? Like, I'm on Twitter talking about the Mandalorian episode, about such and such a character is in it, and oh my god, oh my god. Or is it a spoiler if I'm... Well, it's obviously a spoiler if I'm, you know, talking about it. But are people supposed to get mad at me if I'm talking about something when I'm not adding them, I'm not directly involving them in the conversation? So, and this actually happened once upon a time. I got really mad at somebody that I rarely talk to now, unfortunately, because back in the day, they didn't air Doctor Who on the same day in the US and the UK. Like, it was months later, you'd see it on BBC America, for example. And it's like everybody was already talking about it the same day it came out. So you're going to get spoiled as much as you try to avoid spoilers. It's not like you can get off of social media. It's like, well, you just should get off social media. You can't get off social media. Unless you're at work and somebody takes your phone away from you. People are going to be on social media. So what's the etiquette? Do you use spoiler tags? Do you just not talk about it? And my thoughts are complicated by the fact of, you know, there are people out there who go out of their way to tell people to shut up. It's like, I saw this episode, I'm really excited, I want to talk about it with people who've also seen it, so why should I stifle that? Right? I'm gonna undry the hands here. Oh my goodness. I forgot it's this time of year when, you need lotion for your hands. We always need lotion for your hands, but, So I'm like, I personally don't talk about something that's immediate. Even in my own Discord, I set up a spoilers channel, which is where you talk about new properties. And I got some folks like, I want to talk about the new episode of Star Trek Discovery, which, you always want to talk about that. And even there, I tend to wait until I know that the other people who normally use that channel are around and have seen it. And say, oh my god, this episode. But I don't actually talk about the details. When it comes to social media, like this recent episode of The Mandalorian, I was like, yeah, that was an episode. Yeah. I appreciated that. And some people get really upset because they say even you saying that you liked something is considered a spoiler. And I think that's BS, but, Then again, once upon a time, we'll bring it back to Lord of the Rings, well, The Hobbit in this case. When the first Hobbit movie came out, I got yelled at on social media when I commented that ladies shouldn't get overly...
The forest gate is open, and our path to the Beorning lands is clear.
Okay. We're gonna go talk to Grimbeorn.
It is good to see you again.
Alright, introduction to the Vales of Anduin, which are right here. We're gonna go into a not murky part of the game. And I had suggested that ladies who liked Killy and Philly in the first Hobbit movie, they were fixated on them, who, ladies who had never read the book. In fairness, they had never actually read the book. But I just said, you might not want to get too attached to them because they're gonna die before the story is done. And they're like, "Oh my god, how dare you tell me that?" I'm like, but the book's been out for 80 years. Now, I had no way of knowing for sure that's, whether Peter Jackson would upend that canon and say, "Yeah, no, they survived. It's fine." Or, something else is gonna happen here. So, but people do tend to get upset about spoilers or being spoiled. So I always think in terms of, do I want to ruin the wonder? Because this is why something is considered a spoiler in my lexicon. Let me summon my dude, by the way. There we go. What is a spoiler? It's where you're talking about something that gives away plot details, or if it's like, an adaptation of a book, for example, or tells them how they make something in a book. It's like, well, how did they do the death of Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies? And then, 3 years after the book got published, people got yelled at for mentioning that Dumbledore is gonna die in the movie before it came out. And it's like, but it was in the book. Alright.
You say this is Gandalf? This does not look like the Gandalf I know.
Oh, that's right. You have met Gandalf before, haven't you?
This lodging is not without cost.
Alright. I get to talk to Gandalf, and we also have another quest.
My decision still stands. The darkness has spread across the mountains.
Alright, we're gonna not take up the side quest, because I do want to focus on the Black Book here.
Grimbeorn does not appreciate surprises.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to clear brush from the roads, collect firewood, search patches of soil for flint, defeat orcs, and defeat wargs. We can do that. Let's go do that. That'll be fun. And again, there's all these other quests that I can do for rep and whatever, and tokens, but I'm not... I want to focus on the black book. Because what I want to do is to get this character to level cap. It's like, well, why don't you do all these quests? But they're also low-level quests, so I want to get the black book advanced so I can proceed into Minas Morgul, which is on sale this weekend, by the way. We have Lotro sales. Let me pop the Moobot command for that, in case you're wondering. Let's see if I remember it. There we go. Sales. We got 2 sets of sales this week. We have the normal weekly sale. And we have the winter Yuletide savings. So yeah, 35% off Minas Morgul in the old Lotro market, which is going away in January. One hopes that with the new market, they will restore the ability to buy codes to gift to other people. But I think, while they haven't actually said so, and they're probably never going to say so, I think it's pretty clear that the reason you can't buy Lotro points for other people, and that you can't buy old expansions for people, for codes, other than an old website, is because things have gotten abused. Very sad, really. Patch of soil. So, my thoughts on spoilers. I have many thoughts. I understandably cannot be mad at somebody. I mean, it's annoying when I'm, minding my own beeswax on Twitter, for example, and I come across a spoiler for, I don't know, The Mandalorian. Which, of course, is the most recent thing people are upset about. Not the show being spoiled, not the show itself. They love the show. But just being spoiled about what's happening in the show. Who the guest stars are, or who the guest characters are, I should say. And so, I can kind of understand being vexed that you got spoiled on social media, but it's kind of like Whamageddon, right? It's where you go as long as you can during the month of December, without hearing the original Christmas song by Wham. And if you do, then you've lost. And there is a subsection of people who like to go in and try to force people to, lose Whamageddon. And, so that's just being a bit of a jerk. It's kind of like rickrolling people, but in a more malicious sort of sense to things. And, so I personally think that if you're posting on your own social media, it's courteous to use spoiler tags, etc., and you should. But if you don't, and I read your tweet and I hadn't watched the show, well, guess what? That's my damn fault for not watching the show. In some fashion, some folks are like, oh my god, the entire world has to wait until I've seen this episode. I'm like, wait, what? Why should the entire world wait on you? It always seemed to me to be a very arrogant way of going about your life. It's like, well, what if you can't watch the show for 3 weeks? What if you have to wait 3 days? I don't know. Does the rest of the world have to wait? No, I don't think they should. Now, one thing I've noticed in the BioWare fan community, particularly the Dragon Age and Mass Effect crews, one of the things... Oh, hey! I haven't done that deed yet, have I? No. What am I looking for? No. I haven't done this deed. I should do this deed. I've done this on so many characters. Alright, we're not gonna deal with it right now. We're gonna go find some orcs to murderize. Go get them. I am playing a primarily red line champion with fairly terrible gear. Wait, did I say champ? I keep saying champion. I'm playing a captain, as you can obviously see. So, on some level, I kind of have to be like, you know what? I know when I'll be able to watch this show. If I can, I'll get off social media for that time. If I simply can't because my job requires it, or, you know, that's how you keep in touch with family, etc., etc. I think on some level, I'm going to do what I need to do to ensure I don't see any spoilers. But I would personally say that if, unless somebody was going out of their way to spoil other people, like, I'm going to be malicious and be that person who goes to the bookstore line, not that we can do bookstore midnight releases any longer, and say, oh, hey, you know, you read the book, you speed read the book, and then as people are going in the next morning to buy their copy of the book, you know, you walk up to the store and hang out there with a t-shirt with a big spoiler on it. Like, you know, the Dumbledore dies on page 397 BS. I can't, you know, really be upset with somebody talking about spoilers on their own feed. If I follow them, that's my responsibility. It's like, well, I made that choice. What captains have? That's a purge corruption, so that doesn't actually do anything. Oh, by the way, we need to, let's choose my shield brother. Yeah. Yeah, we need that, and we need that. You are now my shield brother. Excellent. Now, let's see what we got here for that. That's a brief thing. That's an attack. So, the toggles are on. Let's go. Let's go find some more orcs to kill. Well, those are bugs. I don't care about bugs. Remember there were more orcs back here. Yeah, there's one. Those Gundabad sentries. Hi. Alright. You've got a buddy over here. Keep forgetting to put on my mark. So I'm hoping we're gonna hit 123 during this show. That would be a nice thing. Hello. I'm about 3/4 of the way there, so I'm fairly sure that we're going to be able to do it. So I have some rested XP going, and I have, also have enhanced XP supply going. I have some more of those tomes floating around. I have like a ton of them in the vault. Alright, how about this guy? Which one does more damage? That one does 2 attacks. That one does 1. That's 8. That's not... Let's see. The battle hardened is the same either way, but that's 2 attacks of either 7k or 9.5k, and this one is 1 attack of 6.5 to, yeah. So this one, yeah, pressing attack does more damage, so we're gonna keep using that. I don't think Cappies have a debuff, like a Cappy version of First Poison. One more warg to go. Yeah, and 2 more orcs to go. Lots of orcs to find. Gorin, how are you? Pretty good? Yep, I'm okay. Hanging in there, you know, applying for all the jobs today. Had a long diatribe about spoilers and getting myself distracted when I was talking about spoilers. Because a friend of mine was super upset that that the Mandalorian episode had only been out for a couple of hours, or, you know, by the time they woke up, and they got themselves spoiled first thing in the morning. I'm like, on some levels, like, well, if you know people are going to talk about it. Because I can't, you know, it always felt weird to me to have people say, well, just don't talk about it. Or, you know, you should wait until I've seen the episode. Like, well, I don't know when you're going to see the episode. When should I? And I always am a little bit cautious about telling people to shut up. Because as soon as you say, well, you can't talk about Mandalorian, well, why don't... Then you can't talk about this other thing, or you can't talk about that, or, you know, what can I talk about? So I don't want to stifle people from actually talking, right? I don't want to stifle conversation. I don't feel I have the right to stifle people's conversations in a public forum, in a public setting, versus, oh, somebody being a jerk in Twitch chat and I'm a moderator. Well, guess what? That's my job. Alright, what are we talking about in kin chat here real quick? Which you can't see, which you're not supposed to see anyway. I'm actually kind of getting bored with playing Ark, Agorin. I was... Last night, while Laura was streaming, I was on the server, and I was like, I'm bored. I was so bored. Not that there wasn't like, oh my god, there's no people. It's like, how many more times do I have to go kill wyverns or tame them to get them out to see if they... Alright, I need an earring. And this may be an upgrade. No, it will not be an upgrade. Well, higher agility, higher vitality, but crit defense and fate. This again is not a appropriate for, well, actually, no, agility's not even my, Okay, this one is the correct one. Might and vitality, so less might, more vitality, decreased fate, and tactical mitt. So, this does not, none of these are good for me. They're all the same, so I'll choose this one.
Orcs, goblins, and trolls have long harried the people of the Vales.
Okay, talk to Vegbar. Okay, this won't be at least like Professor Corey getting his butt handed to him. Okay, so this... the armor is better, the might is better, vitality, physical mastery, and fate are not. Alas. Well, we're gonna go do it. Because that's what we're supposed to do. But the whole no spoiler thing, once the content's out, it's fair game to talk about. Yeah, and that's really the thing, is like, how are you gonna be PO'd that people are talking about something? It's not their fault that you haven't seen something, right? And again, if they're talking on Twitter, they're not adding you, they're not, you know, deliberately forcing you to find out about it. I mean, it's not like a more closed environment, such as like kin chat or something, or guild chat in an MMO. It's like, well, you have to either turn that off entirely or what? And at least in Lotro, it's easy to create a user or create a channel. Just make spoilers, whatever. And then you can talk about spoilers there and not, you know, ruin the experience for other people. Because that's the whole thing about spoilers. Is like, oh my god, you spoiled this. You ruined my enjoyment of it. And I get that. Oh my god, I totally get that. Because, you know, there are a few properties out there that I would be furious if somebody spoiled. Like Doctor Who or the well, I'm not too fussed about the Mandalorian or Star Trek Discovery, but you spoil Doctor Who on me, I will be mad. Because that was the show I like to go into with childlike wonder. Oh hey, right, there's a pond here. But apparently it's not deep enough to worry about. Okay. We're good, fam. So, on the one hand, there's people who are not being malicious to you, and you're being upset at them. And on the other hand, it's like, well, you could take a little personal responsibility. Do what you gotta do to protect yourself from spoilers. Like, you know, don't follow... Pardon me. Like, for Doctor Who, I unfollowed the official Doctor Who Twitter feed because they would live stream episodes, and it's like, even with regard to now Doctor Who's on the same day in the US and the UK, the US gets it hours later, you know, on BBC America, and with commercials, oh my dear god. And so the UK is talking about Doctor Who at least 5 or more hours before the US has a chance to see it. So, what are you going to do? You got to do something to protect yourself. You know, unfollow the accounts, mute them, mute the various hashtags. I mean, I did that with Rise of Skywalkers. I muted certain hashtags and haven't unmuted them since. Mainly because people have been really hate Rise of Skywalker and have been complaining about it.
Weeping, creeping, all mad up.
Oh, thanks you. Teeny, how you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna need the job app help. Hanging in there, hanging in there. Doing some leveling on my LMB alt. Well, one of my LMB alts, because I actually have 2. Haven't really played the other one since I got her to level 20, except last time I did anything with her of any substance, I took her through the wedding in Minas Tirith. But she's currently now sitting in the Haunted Burrow. Sadly did not get the the steed. Alright, there's Langhar. We're gonna ignore her. We're gonna pick up the stable master, though. Oh, hey! We should bring Corey up here. Now that the guards aren't gonna kill him.
The mountains belong to us, not to those foul goblins.
Because I think he would find this very intriguing. These little huts and whatnot. And how these are different from the houses of the folks in Holtvist. Because these are Bjornings, whereas the Holtvistians are men. Non-Bjorning men. Mainly, I think he'd be curious about this thing over here. Is it a hut or is it like a silo of some kind? Like a grain silo? It's got this storage shed right here. I don't know why you'd have fruits and veggies uncovered out in the open, but you know, you do you.
From Vegbar, we keep watch on travel and trade across the river and over the mountains.
Dwarves and men find easy passage as long as they pay the toll. Apparently Corey didn't pay the toll. Alright. Continue to Holtvist. Well, we have...
I have slain goblins today. Can you say the same?
Yeah, well, orcs. I killed some orcs. Alright. Hang on. Alright. Who am I supposed to be talking to? You. Hi.
The fighting may be done, but we need to rebuild our town and restock our larders.
Alright, defeat orcs in Wood's Edge. Collect flanks from Forest Hearts and Wood's Edge. Okay. We get to go kill things. Let's resummon my archer. And let's go. Now that I'm in higher level areas, I made a point not to have the archer on aggro, because that's always a very bad idea. Always weirds me out to hear the hearts and the hinds going ee like that. There we go. Your friend Miazine has come online. Good thing I'm not on a hobbit right now. I better run, Teeny. Mia's coming for you. Alrighty. That's a horn. I want to make friends with the tree. Definitely need to put some leveling in on my LI, that's for sure. Because unfortunately, it's not a really good imbued first ager. It is the first ager, but go get him. There's also another discussion. We can talk about this chat. This has also come up on the official from time to time. But it also comes up on like a lot of people's personal channels occasionally. Well, I have my own opinions as to what is appropriate and not. It was a conversation. Actually, one of the nicest people that I know in all of gaming is this lovely voice actress by the name of Diva. Deva, Diva Gregory. She does the character of Flane in Fire Emblem Three Houses. She is also the characters Addie Fizzlebog and Amira, the Volpera, in World of Warcraft. Also, full disclosure, she's a very good friend, and I moderate her Twitch channel for her as one of her mod team. I'm excited I get to watch her channel tomorrow! She's also the primary hostess on her Twitch channel of an amazing show featuring really cool voice actors called Brunch with the Bard. What they do is they read Shakespeare and or other, oh gosh darn it. Other public domain works, like, you know, like plays. And her crew is, oh my god, they are so funny. You know, doing some really cool stuff. Okay, I need to find some orcs to kill. Let's see. Well, we're about to run into orc territory, so this should be fun. Whoops. Now we're going to use our amazing champion skills. Or, I'm sorry, our captain. Why do I keep saying champ? Chat, why do I keep saying champion and I'm not playing one? Why do I keep doing that, chat? And she was upset because... Diva was upset because people apparently are going around being very upset with other players. Like, saying this is the only way to play a game. Like, you're not doing it right if you're doing it this way, or you're not doing it right if you don't do it my way. And let's be fair, there's a lot of that in the Lotro and DDO communities. I also see it a lot in the WoW community. And it's kind of like, you see commentary in, for example, Court of the Rings, where a lot of players are like, well, this class is broken because it doesn't get taken for raids, or this is, and it's like, you're playing your character wrong if you don't do X, Y, or Z. And I you know, to be fair, I've been on the wrong side of that discussion myself. Generally being grumpy when I was a healer, for example, and the person I'm healing is making it harder on me to get my job. It's like, I'm having trouble healing you. Help me out here, fam. Speaking of helping me out, I can't wait to be able to go in there. And I think there's definitely a balance in there somewhere. Silliness? What do I think about Lotro console and the numbers? Lotro on console, that's going to take some doing. It's not impossible, but you got to take all of this mess right here and be able to fit it on... Fit it on this. I see somebody logged in named Teeny. until you can fit all of those commands into something like this, ain't gonna happen. As opposed to, say, Diablo 3 or a Diablo game, where if the game was already designed with a small set of, you know, like 10 commands tops, you're golden, right? So actually, it'd be really cool if I could play Lotro with this. Driving a war steed with a flight stick, oh my god, that would be amazing and funny. And I would run into all of the things. And now I kind of want to play Star Wars Squadrons. Maybe later tonight. I haven't played that in far too long. I've been busy playing Ark and playing DDO. Well, actually, I haven't been playing DDO enough. I think there's definitely... I don't think Lotro is going to come to console by 2022. They would have to overhaul the entire game to make that happen. I'm actually more excited about the other thing in that piece of information, which was the visual and technical upgrades. Those are exciting. I need something other than a swarm of flies to shoot. What's that? That's a horn. Ooh, there's a Shanghai warrior. Let's go kick his butt. With reference to the numbers. The numbers, from my understanding, basically tell us how well Lotro was doing. And personally, I think it's a good thing. If you've got a 13-year-old game performing as well as Lotro showed in that investor's document, and the fact that they cited it as a growth opportunity, which means they saw a future in the game. If they didn't see a future in the game, they wouldn't have talked about it. Like, we didn't see... I mean, we saw a mention of the other game, DDO, but it really wasn't talked up as much as this game was. This game was really... For the first time, it was at the core. I was like, you should invest in this company because they have a Lord of the Rings franchise, and holy crap, that's going places. So that, I think, is good for us. It's good for Standing Stone because it makes them look good, quite frankly, because it's basically, you have all the Daybreak Umbrella games, and then you have the 2 Standing Stone games, which are, you know, owned by Daybreak. We didn't know that for sure, but we kind of suspected it. You. Go get him, champ. I know a lot of other games who would kill for those numbers. And they're much younger games. And one thing that, from an investor perspective, that you want to see is the numbers of how long-term players have been sticking around. Like, how much of a percentage of your player base are long-time people, because that means they are... I wouldn't say 100% reliable income, because there's always the risk factors. I mean, if you actually read the entire presentation, there were like a few different pages of risk factors that they have to publish. With any investment opportunity, you have to publish that stuff. That is required by law. So seeing the numbers, you know, there's some people who put out conspiracy theories like, oh my god, why couldn't Daybreak tell us this? And like, well, that's kind of a fair question. On the other hand, Daybreak wasn't legally obligated to do so. They were legally obligated to divulge that information to a future buyer. And because the buyer in Ad Global is a Swedish company, there are very strict rules about publishing information like that. Those numbers, they had to publish. And that's good for us, because that helps us hold the company accountable. It's like, you know, oh, hey, thank you. That also lets us see that, you know, the game isn't, like, on the verge of dying or anything dumb like that, which is a narrative that some people have been spending a little bit too much time on, quite frankly. It's like, oh my god, the game's dead. No, the game's not dead. The game's fine. Is it doing as well as Blizzard? Well, of course not. How can you do as well as Blizzard when your parent company, like, one of the interesting things about it was how they said that Daybreak had, what, 300 employees? And I'm like, World of Warcraft, on just the Team 2 team that makes World of Warcraft, like Blizzard, they have like over 200 people on that one team alone, and it doesn't include anything like the people who do customer service, the cinematics team, any of that. So I always was like, why are people expecting Standing Stone to put out something the same level of quality and content availability that, like, Blizzard does? Because they don't have that many people. Sneakies! Yeah, Grillian, Ark with a K. Like, you know, Noah's Ark. Literally. Ultimately, I think the investor thing pretty much illustrated what Standing Stone was doing right. And what that the value that Daybreak brings to the new company, that the stuff Standing Stone has been doing is a strong part of that value. So one of the concerns that I think a lot of people had about when Daybreak became, or when where SOE became Daybreak Games, and that Daybreak had Standing Stone under their aegis, and we're like, well, who actually owns Daybreak? And there was a lot of confusion and retractions and trying to scrub the internet's thing, and it felt very, very murky and maybe a little bit shady, sketchy. I think being owned by a public company will help. Especially one that's based in the EU, which has much stronger rules on telling people things. Yeah, it was super sus. I mean, did you see that whole thing, Otaku? Like a few years ago when it's like, oh hey, they're owned by Columbus Nova. And it's like, no, they weren't owned by Columbus Nova. Who are they owned by? I'm like, what? They're owned by this one guy? No, it's owned by this other guy. It's like, what? But now we know for sure that, and it's like, did Standing Stone, are they a separate company, or were they actually owned by Daybreak? Did Daybreak actually buy them? And, I mean, we knew that Daybreak was publishing the Standing Stone games, and I knew that, in essence, Daybreak's name was on the paychecks, for example, you know? And Daybreak was handling all of their careers, and hirings and stuff like that. A company like that isn't gonna just be your publisher. They had to have some piece of the puzzle. All right, let's get this guy some flanks of meat. Meat.
You have found choice cuts to exceed many of our hunters' finest takings.
Well, you know, I'm a captain of good measure. Okay, Mortis and Nexa Angelis. Old player from back in the 50 cap. Do you recommend getting back in? Hell yes. Oh, hell yes. Unfortunately, you did miss the free summer. However, the game has a lot of content for you to play. If you love the story, there's story in all these places for you to play. Right now, they're starting to begin something that's really cool. They're starting to do a lot more level agnostic content, like the current expansion, War of Three Peaks. Recently added stuff up here in Ravanian, in this area, where as long as you're level 20 or higher, you can do it. And so you can keep up on the current story without having to play 130 levels of all of this. I mean, the ring is done. We kicked its butt in Mordor. We've played through all the content here in the northwest corner of Mordor. We haven't been down here yet. But yeah. And there's still a lot of people. There was recently a publication, because, of course, Daybreak has been bought and by a Swedish company. And the Swedish company threw out the numbers of how well Standing Stone was doing with Lotro, and they were talking about something like, what was it, 100,000 some odd players per month or something like that. Don't remember the... Actually, let me dig up that document. That's the press release. Here it is, the investor presentation. And just in case you're wondering what the heck I'm reading from, it's right here. You have a lifetime sub. Fellow lifetime fist bump, boom. But yeah, the investor presentation was really exciting. Page 17, I think, is the one we're looking. Do you want to look at? No, actually, page 15. So Lotro is as of bookings as of the end of September. It was monthly average users was 108,000. Members, which are, paid subscriptions, 41,000. But we don't know yet if that 41,000 includes all the lifetimers, like myself. So that's really, really cool. Curiously, though, not curiously, though. And there's also a good solid answer from our comments about the other game from Standing Stone, which is Dungeons & Dragons Online. So basically, looking also at page 19, there is a projection of a growth opportunity for Lotro. Planning visual and technical updates for Lotro for PC and next-gen consoles to capitalize on Amazon's highly publicized large investment to the tune of $500 million in the Lotro TV, the Lord of the Rings TV series. It's not a Lord of the Rings TV series if it's set in the Second Age, kids! And it says source company information, which means Daybreak told them that, which kind of seems to hint that that might have been where Lotro was trying to go in 2022 anyway. So I find there's basically, the game isn't dying, the game isn't going anywhere, the game has a solid future ahead of us. Is Elendamir? No. If you're in North America, your choices... Okay. If you're on an original North American server, your choices are Arkenstone, Brandywine, Crick Hollow, Gladden, and Landreval. If you're in the EU, then your choices are going to be Evernight, Laurelin, Belagir, Gwahir, and Saranen. The characters on those old servers are still there. As long as you didn't, since you mentioned the Big E, your characters are still there. It's just they haven't yet updated those old servers to the current database structure to then allow people to transfer their characters off of those servers. But they do have plans to make that happen. Crick Hollow is the mostest bestest, says Sneakies. I'm on Langeval. I'm biased. I was, however, on Crick Hollow since the day it opened. So I do have a very big fondness for the Big C. But right now, my characters are all here on Landy. And of course, Landy is where most of the music happens. And of course, since I'm in the kinship, the Lonely Mountain Band, it's all about the music, isn't it? What's going on in kin chat, speaking of? Everybody's hanging out at the Prancing Pony right now because folks are playing at the Prancing Pony. And yes, Crick Hollow does have its own good music scene. My good friend Ponton Finberry, a stream regular and VIP, I believe, has leadership of the Second Breakfast Kinship. And they're going to be doing Winterfest next weekend, all weekend long. If I am available, I will probably be streaming some of it. I will not, unfortunately, be able to host it on the official because there is currently a moratorium from doing so. Because DMCA, yeah, we're not going to get DMCA'd. Alright, now we have talk to Gelfrida, Uric, and Mavi. Mavi is a name that engenders a bit of annoyance in me because... Not because of this little girl, but because the name Mavi is a unsympathetic character
So quick and deaf, snatches, catches,
in the Harper Hall
leaves
novels.
bereft. The mothers of the babes he claims and leaves them crying out their names.
I love hearing stories.
This child's voice is very deep voiced. The Maiden of the Gladden or Mayaru Winter Hair of the Horsefolk. Horsefolk? Rohirrim. Have you heard tell of the Hole Dwellers? Oh! Shy and tricksy. They were small people, shy and tricksy. They said they dwelt in holes beneath the ground. Nay, not like the dwarves. See, I want to play this quest as a hobbit. Just to see if this little girl wigs out about it. It's like, wait, what? Fairy stories about the Hole Dwellers. But none of them have been seen in hundreds of years. Oh, man. Corey would... Oh, man. I can't wait till Corey gets to play some of this other content. Ooh, Mortis. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. You are most welcome. And, yeah. And it really depends on what content you want to play. I mean, if you also like the raiding scene, Arkenstone is a good server for that. Also for PvP, Arkenstone and Evernight seem to be the leaders there. It's not really my thing. I don't really care to be a top-end raider. Especially since, you know, if you're not doing exactly the right thing and have your character exactly geared out and you're not, you know, right spec, then you're not invited to the party. That's too much reindeer games for me. You're a raid PvP person? Then I highly recommend Arkenstone. Those will be your people. There's also raiding on other servers. Evernight also a good raiding, but that's an EU server. So they're basically about 12 hours different from us. Stina, one of our friends in Norway, she streams Lotra periodically, and she is an Evernight raider of some note. Also, our good friend Chromite is well known for running a bunch of raids, but yeah, definitely Arkenstone is the raiding server, the #1 raiding server. Alright. My nose is all sniffly. The maiden that walks the marshland, her hair is golden, they say, threaded with yellow flowers. They walked among the pool and the glad and sing songs of sorrow. Oh. You convince yourself that the horse folk that lived in these lands long ago, from whom came the first stories of the maiden, must have mistaken the light on the water for her golden hair, and a breath of wind for the sun, and he gave up seeking her. And the one as a woman grown, left tales of the maiden to your childhood. There's some magic to the veils. Yes, I am skimming through the quest text because I have done these quests before. And whoa, somebody named their character Bramble Bum Sniffer? Bum Sniffer? Okay. Got your Hunter Garden Berg up to 130 now to get your gear up to speed. Oh my god, sneakies. I have got a spreadsheet. I have to actually look because I can't remember off the top of my head. I have got my Hunter to 130. She was not a Valar character. Well, she was a 95 Valar, so... No, she's a 105. A Hunter... My Guardian, my Champion, and that's it. Was that Bramble Bum Sniffer? Yes, Grillian, it was. No, it's fine. It's one of the things that we like to do, because, you know, I am on the Lotro stream team. I don't work for Standing Stone, but I spend enough time doing stuff for them. I might as well. They should put me on the payroll. That would be funny. That we like to answer questions. We like to help people out. We like to welcome them back. If it's been a while since they've been in the party. The VIP server is up to level 85. No, Sneaky. It's 95. And on the 16th, it's going to 100. That was the news posted yesterday on the forums by Cord after his show. In fact, let me get that post for you right now. If the forums would hurry up. Okay, here we go. So, update 28.2 and dates. So, Yuletide Festival starts on the 10th at 10 a.m. T5 difficulty for the 2 raids or instances, whatever the heck, on the 10th also at noon. Legendary Worlds of Honor and Ithil will have their level cap increased to 100 on the 16th. So, dang, yes. So, yeah, Sneaky, I was actually on Ithil yesterday on my official show, and we're just about ready to go. I still haven't actually transferred my characters from Ithil to Honor, even though it is free to do so. I just didn't really feel like it. Alright. The Horsefolk of Ravanian, who eventually became the Rohirrim. Building a fortress of stone and timber on an island. See, this is stuff that's really actually cool, because Corey comes in here, he doesn't do the quest yet. And he tries to discern where things come from based on what he can see of the architecture. And it was really cool on Tuesday's show that we were on, we were at Everbark. And he thought it was Rudaurin because we saw the Rudaurin symbol above the thing, and it's not a Rudaurin place at all. And it's like, oh my god, it housed the Horsefolk for several generations, and he's thinking it's Rudaurin. When he's gonna, and I love the fact that nobody's told him this. Like, we have been actively sheltering this guy from finding out the quests. Okay, this is, of course, setting up the upcoming content in the Black Book of Mordor, which I have read before, so I'm not going to bore you with it again. It's not even boring. It's actually very fascinating. But I'm also hanging out in chat. You might want to talk to, I don't know, Sneakies. You maybe talk to Yiki, see if he's still playing on the server. Oh, we got to talk to Vermwood back by the fire. I don't know if he's still playing on Honor. But my main over on Ithil has been level 95 for ages. I was going back and doing the class trait points. Alright. Bring the tolls to Grimbeorn. Okay, we'll do that. The only one I'm running on Honor is your 95. Yeah, I haven't really played many of my alts. Um, let's go back to the running host. Play red line, soloing, know how to do yellow line for the buffs, debuffs for fellows. See, I don't really play Berg, though I have a couple of Bergs of varying levels. Ironically, one of my Bergs has the name that my day one character had from Arkenstone back in the day. Alright. Hang on. Something going on. Da, 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 da. I'm just answering something in Discord real quick. Alright. Let's go talk to Grimbeorn. Sorry. People are posting old news in Kin Discord. I'm like, and they're posting bad news in Kin Discord. Alright. Save many healers' butt by stunning a baddie that's going for them till he could get rounded up. Yeah.
Did you succeed at those two purposes?
Alright. I bring you your tolls. And go talk to the wizard. I think my favorite interaction with Gandalf in the entire game is when he goes and talks to Dis, and Dis has 0 time for him. I loved it. That was like my favorite. Okay. Wood fences.
I have been studying the Black Book, but it resists my attempts to dissolve its mysteries.
Alrighty. So these pauldrons, again, more armor, more might, less vitality, less physical mastery rating, and less fate. I think right now... I think the armor, might, and vitality are more important than the fate and physical mastery.
I have found that walking can often be the best way to banish troubling distractions.
Go beat up on some orcs and half-orcs. I will help you do that. I will do that. It's a habit he picked up from Bilbo, I believe. For his walking stick was rarely resting. He thoroughly enjoyed walking the hills and lanes of the Shire. Alright. Ah, Discord, what are you doing? Alright. And of course we have the interlude, Shades in the Swamp. I'm not going to do that yet. Because...
Darkness has settled upon the Vales of Anduin. Can you not feel it?
Oh, yes, yes. And I really do like that upgrade, so... eventually I will do the interlude, but we are going to wait on it. Because I want to finish chapter 10 first, so we do this in order. Yes. Yeah, see? So we're very specific in where we need to go. We need to go to the quarry, where, actually what we're going to do is we're going to take the, look at my horse's butt. It's like a sphinx horse. Like a sphinx cat with no hair. There we go.
Are under our protection.
We're going to actually take the swift travel down the whole this. Alright. Let's resummon my archer. Except he's gonna go away as soon as I mount my horse again. Alright, it's 9:30. Means we are halfway through the show tonight. I'll be on again Monday evening, same bat time, same bat channel, hopefully with some answers to my job applications if I'm lucky. If I'm lucky. Let's get some progress. Get some progress done here. Oh, excuse me. I actually kind of like how, like, if you're holding a two-handed weapon, that you hold it down like that against the side of your horse, so you're not, like, cutting everything. We're going down to the river, 'cause maybe that's where I'll be. Gonna hold my nose and jump right in, 'cause you don't care about me. I just need to find the way down to the river. That I'm not jumping off the cliffs. This looks like a possible good spot. Ah! The horse goes sploosh like that. That was cool. He gets a spider in the water. You have a very great screenshot of your guard in one of the very few times he has ever used a two-hander. Oh yeah? Yeah, my guard typically is sword and board. Though it always puzzled me why Guardians got a hammer for the 120 Valar. I never understood that. On War Steed in combat with a sword held down like that? Oh yeah. Looks pretty cool. Though, I do have to say the two-hander also looks very weird when they're holding it back like this. Like, you're off balance? How is that gonna work? I didn't rig it or animate it. What? I got a new deed? Come on. A deed bestowed. Enemies of the Vale. Okay. You are somebody we need to kill. Both of you are people we need to kill. Go get him, champ! How do we suddenly get frogs attacking us? Okay. I'm about to die. Wait, don't I have better healing pots? Yeah, this is going very well. And that, boys and girls, is why you want to play a captain. Not a soda. Makes me sad. Alright. So we've got 2 of the 6 half-orcs we needed to murder. Didn't I actually make myself? I did not! Chat! How dare I? Alright. we're gonna do something dangerous. I'm actually gonna log out and switch to an alt. And well, first of all, I'm gonna go check inventory. Ethelos. The mid is Ethelos. Okay, Kyrina has 100 of them in her bags. She doesn't need them. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna switch out for just a second. I gotta go get some healing pots, kids. Need some healing pots. Alrighty. Yes, I have characters still in the haunted burrow because they don't kick you out if you don't log out. If you don't leave the haunted burrow, you can stay there forever. The chest isn't there for you to loot. The NPCs aren't there, but you can still go wander around the haunted burrow if you really, really wanted to. And this is one of the reasons why you should be VIP. Or you might want to consider becoming VIP. Boom. Alright, I have 100 of these. Nope. Yup. 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 Alrighty. Back to my Cappy. Now the big question is, did I get too close to one of those mobs and they're gonna path into me while I'm logging back in? Or is it gonna be different? Alright, let's resummon our dude. See? So we gotta be careful about these sorts of things. However, I now have better healing pots. See, look it, we got nice meal from Gallon here today. Oh, hi. You attack this guy. Thank you. So we attacked an Oathbreaker with more Oathbreakers. It wasn't that fortuitous. Oh hey! We're killing a turtle. This is going very badly, people! Alright, we got the one done. We'll take the quest just in case we happen to complete it while we're fighting. There we go. Alright, let's have some Daleman's cram, because you can never go wrong with a good spot of cram. That was good. We've had ourselves a little snack. I don't think I have any trail food, though. I do not, alas, alack. I need this one. Okay. Let's go find that half-orc that I saw up here. Of course, the awesome soundtrack up here, created by one Mr. Bill Champagne, aka Darth Celtics, aka dude who occasionally streams himself on Twitch, playing Stardew Valley with his best friend Cassie, who I also watch on Twitch. And occasionally they will do co-op Link to the Past games, because you can do that. Or playing other Final Fantasy games, or what did he... He also has streamed some non-work related composition too, which I hope he gets back to that soon, because that's actually really fun. I want to know what happened to the train station, Bill! And I got to be the very first person to interview him. In like a press capacity. Now he's like my friend and I can't interview him. Okay, go get these guys. Alright, let's plop that down. Remember how many times we got Corey killed by these guys? Actually, only... He never got killed by these guys. He got killed by a proper full-scale orc. Alright. We need one more of these bozos. Do you count? I don't care about your dog. Nope. You know, if you play Dungeons & Dragons online, you could actually play a half-orc as your character. But the half-orcs in DDO are basically like regular orcs, only slightly human, as opposed to the half-orcs here in Lord of the Rings, which are supposed to be human-presenting, so they can go wander in debris. Because, of course, the squint-eyed southerner or his swarthy friend were half-orcs. Okay, well, we got two of them. Go get them, champ. Oh, and they want to fight over there? Okay. I do kind of miss playing my champion and having all my AoE skills. I'm not gonna lie. Alright. Now... we need to go kill some orcs, some actual proper orcs here in the Gladden Fields. Let's go for a little bit of a swim. Gonna need to do some bag cleaning soon. Well, actually, while we're in the middle of the river, let's first of all take a look at that cosmetically. Yeah. Gonna toss that. Let's see. Remember the earrings? We decided not to go with them. I mean, the vitality was good, but everything else was not as good. But I think we were going to... Yeah, we were actually going to switch out the pauldrons, so let's go ahead and do that. And now we can Zorch these. Get some motes of enchantment. How many do I have? I'll look in my premium wallet, which is a half price this weekend, by the way. I have embers. I have ooh, I could probably buy something with my motes of enchantment. Though I always want to like wait until I'm at like level cap to spend that kind of money. Oh hey, I need to reforge. I forgot to do that. Even though it's only the bridal. Oh, hey, you. Devastating blow and pressing attack damage? Well, hang on here. Let's take a look at this. Oh, pretty sure strike. Okay, it would be pressing attack or... Oh, hello. We'll take that. Alright. Let's take a quick look, actually. Okay, so this is at max now, and it has all 3 upgrades on it. So it had level 70. So it's actually in time to imbue this bad boy. So let's go... Oh my god, I still have to... I am the worst. Don't anybody tell Chrome like this. Alright, it's already at max damage. Let's max this out. Oh man. You dismissed that. Bleed Pulse is also a good thing. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Shadows limit, Rallying Cry, healing. I definitely want to enhance the healing. Let's spend our points there. Okay, so this thing is pretty much ready to imbue. Because we can't do any better with it. So, let's be scary and let's actually go through the imbuing process, shall we? Okay. Any skills healing, devastating blow, blah blah blah. I think I have pretty decent thingamajiggers on it, so we're gonna go with that. Ba-ching! Alright. And of course I can't use these yet. So I have the ones from Mordor here, and on my weapon I have the ones from Minas Morgul. Right. Don't I have... I thought I had them. I must have put them in the bank. However, what we do have... There's one cool thing about having this out in the middle of the field. I can just go look at my shared storage whenever I want to. Also, housing writs are on sale this weekend. If you wanted to buy some housing writs. I am looking for legendary. I don't have... Yeah, I see you, Toad. Alright. No, I didn't want to go to the Lotro store. Actually, let's use all the XP on this. There we go. Get a little bit better. I do have some catch-up starlets as well. we're gonna leave it for now, and we're gonna go continue our questing. Because that's what we're all here for. Okay. And I want to ignore loss in the swamp. I just want to focus on the orcs here in the Gladden Fields. Alright. And there's, of course, where these fires that Professor Corey was oh so curious about, as he tends to be about things like, what are those fires over there? And we're like, oh, you'll find out when you get over there. Because, of course, you can see the fires from this encampment up here, all the way over there where we were, up in Avabarg. Hello, other player. Let me go check kin chat real quick. This water is too steady. Too still for where it is. So what's everybody up to in Lotro tonight? I know Teeny is hanging out with the gang. At the Prancing Pony, I'm sure. Sploosh. Sneakies, of course, is causing trouble as Sneakies does, and we love Sneakies for it. Alright, we gotta kill 4 orcs. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Gabloosh with the follow. Thank you so much for that. Yow. Welcome to the wackiest Lodro community on the planet. I'm, of course, the hostess of this wacky assemblage. I appreciate silliness in all things. 2 hunters, no waiting, go get 'em. Yeah. Watch this. Hi, guys. Having fun? I do, at times like this, I do miss having my champion and doing the Xing Xing. I'm not gonna lie. I do like my Xing Xing. There we go, 3 of the 4. Just need 1 more. Ooh, there's a corpse. Can I loot it without aggroing these guys? Let's find out. Yes! And yes, I do know I have this corruption on me. Doesn't work on myself. An attack that heals the fellowship. Ooh, that's nice. Healing pots are thankfully a dime a dozen, especially when you have 100 of them sitting on your ult, and you forgot about them. Alright, we have killed enough orcs to satisfy the terms of the quest. Let's go find Monsieur Gandalf on the road north of Duskenvale, near the Gladden Fields. We're gonna run out this way. Excuse me. Pardon me. Coming through. Splash. And Gandalf is way down there. We're gonna aggro everything on the way. What? You want a Thief Kitty? I don't know where Thief Kitty is. I'll have to go get him. Thief Kitty! Here, kitty, 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 kitty. It's probably sleeping upstairs. Thief Kitty! What's that do? What are you up to? You're watching you play Lotro while you play Lotro. Go Bloosh. You're our people. That's what you do. Though sometimes when I'm watching my friend Devilor play World of Warcraft, I can't play World of Warcraft 2. Because, especially if he's playing the same class that I'm playing at the same time, then it's like, did that come from my game or did that come from his game? So I'm always like, So, redeeming Thief Kitty means I have to go get Thief Kitty and bring him on camera. Which means I have to go find Thief Kitty. However, since I'm in the middle of very dangerful places, I'm going to get to somewhere reasonably safe before I get up and go get the cat. Fifi! Because normally he's right here, so he's probably either pestering the other cats, which by pestering the other cats means he's parked outside their door because they get their own separate room because he's a bully. Or he's curled up upstairs in the bathroom because he likes to sleep in the upstairs bathroom for some damn reason or other. However, I will also take the opportunity to go refill my water bottle. Because I figure as soon as I go upstairs, if he's upstairs, he's gonna come downstairs. Alright. Well, hello. Alright, so let me go get Thiefy. And you're gonna listen to some amazing music from the Jolly Bell, as well as the game. And I will be right back with a kitty. That's a kitty. Listen to that purr. He's so happy. There you go, Grillian. You got your thief kitty.
You know the war of the Last Alliance and the siege of Barad-dûr that concluded the Second Age.
I do know this. I was there, Gandalf! See? Indeed, you fought in the war, though you missed the siege itself. This is true. Alright, let's go into Lair Lad. Of course, we can just ride. Come on, game, let's go. Oh, he's so happy, kitty. Hi, Kevin. How you doing? Ah, cat hair. Seriously. And alas, I did not refill my water bottle. However, I needed the sugar, quite frankly. It's been a long day. Crisp, refreshing Pepsi made with real sugar. Oh, goodness. Alright, Gandalf is here.
Isildur rode from Minas Tirith with a small company, including his 3 eldest sons.
Alright, planned across the Misty Mountains where he'd reminded with his youngest son, Valandil. Valandil, being but a child and too young for war, remained behind in the safety of Rivendell. Look around, look around. Okay. About to get us DMCA'd for singing Hamilton songs here. Look around, are we lucky to be alive right now?
The
History
War of the
is
Last Alliance
happening.
had ended in victory. Did that success blind Isildur and his men?
It's actually more interesting to read this having played through this content once before. And now getting better grip on all the nuances. It's only acceptable if you sin. Oops, sing. TD. Was that a Freudian slip on your part? Alright. Dark things abide is still in Middle Earth. The orcs of Wilderland lay in wait. Is it Wilderland or Wilderland? I always say it Wilderland because it's the wild. Using the Eric Cartman voice. Respect my authority! And that's what I say in my head. Or aloud if I'm not on voice chat. Whenever I ban somebody from somebody else's channel. Especially if they're being a dork and they earn the ban. Well, every time they... I don't actually time people out or ban them unless they earned it. Whether they believe they did is another story entirely. Yeah, TD just missed a Thief Kitty sighting. That's because, well, there's always the VOD, so... Alright. We walk in the footsteps of Isildur's coming to even 3,000 years later. Don't remind me that I slept the past 3,000 years, Gandalf. Jeez. Jeez, oh Pete. You saw Kitty? Yeah, because, TD was lurking. Lurk. Looking for a mind that'll work. Looking for a mind that'll work. Okay. I did not just watch Hamilton twice in the past 2 days. TD. You only need one hand? It's a good thing I'm only being hosted by the official, not actually on the official. Because otherwise I'd have to say, oh my. However, we gotta keep it clean, chat, because we are being hosted by the official. Wow, Gandalf was a teleporting wizard. Who dat? Who's that dwarf? Ah. Ah, they went out of range. Dang it.
The orcs struck as Isildur's company crossed near to the Gladden Fields.
The attack came in darkness with neither sun nor moon in the sky. And in the blackness, the orcs had the great... How did you know? You weren't here. Look around, look around. Dang it.
The orcs struck as Isildur's company crossed near to the Gladden Fields.
By the way, isn't this pretty? The misty mountains. Almost hear the harsh war cry. Well, you know, there are orcs way the heck over there. And sound carries over water. So of course I heard them.
The orcs
And I'm an elf.
Isildur's band with ravenous fury.
The men of Gondor were strong and valiant, and they had much skill at arms. Do not forget they were survivors of the Great War against Mordor. And years of battle had hardened their courage and their resolve. The orcs were many, and they were treacherous foes prone to trickery. Their warriors practiced the arts not of combat, but of deception. The battle that followed was brutal, and blood soaked these hills. Onward, the end of the story draws near. It lies to the northwest. Climb down the slope to the bank of the river and meet me further north. But there's a tree down there. It's moving. And yes, I'm avoiding the mobs because I don't feel like fighting my entire way there. Stop in the name of love before you break my heart.
Isildur pressed north, harried by his enemies, but he did not make it far.
For everyone the Dunedain killed, 2 more leapt forward in his stead. Hail Hydra. He watched as his knights, his captains, and even his own sons fell in the affray. Look not as he did, and imagine the circling horde drawing ever nearer. Well,
Of his men, only 3 survived. One of these was Oktar, Isildur's own esquire.
and with whom the doomed king entrusted the shards of Narsil, he bade Otar to bring the broken blade to Rivendell. Did the squire obey his lord's command without complaint, or did he wish to stand by his king and die with him? We do not know for certain. What we do know is that Otar managed to slip away during the confusion of battle. After much toil and danger in the wilderness, he came to Rivendell safely, bearing the shards of Narsil. They became an heirloom of Isildur's line ever after in Arnor and later among the rangers in the wild. Our account of Isildur ends with the departure of Otar. The squire believed Isildur fought on even without hope of victory, but for long years even the wise did not know. So only 3 survived. And 1 was Otar, so who were the other 2?
For many years following the disaster of the Gladden Fields, none knew what became of Isildur.
Most believed he perished in the ambush shortly after Otar escaped with the shards of Narsil, for there was no further word of the king. His body was never found, and there's no claim for ransom. Hi. Hi. Welcome back. He came back. But in time the wise learned his true fate. After sending Otar away, Isildur saw but one hope for his survival, refusing to allow the ring to fall back into the hands of the enemy. He put it on and disappeared, even amidst the tumult of battle. Leaving the orcs to the fury of their confusion, he fled to the river and sought to swim across. See that islet over yonder to the west? I believe that is where the son of Elendil intended to go. Let us follow and pick up his story at its ending. Ooh. The Isle of the Flowers. Kitty was finishing hamming it up. Whose cat? Mine or yours? Hi. Hi, kitty. Who's that? Oh, that's another player. Nice. And small white flowers. See, Corey never came over here, so he has no idea about this area. Of course, he doesn't have any idea of the story
river
either.
Anduin is mighty, and it was no less so when Isildur sought to swim across.
The effort nearly killed him, but still he managed to reach the island. But alas, while he was still in the river, the ring betrayed him. It slipped from his finger and was lost. Even when the wise pieced together this account of the events, we did not know the truth entire. We believed the ring had been borne on the current to the sea, and that it had left this Middle Earth. The truth and the rediscovery of the ring has now shown otherwise. Look around. Hi. Hello. You are a silly cat. Alright. Isildur's despair as he rose from the water without the enemy's ring.
Bereft of the safety provided by the ring's power, Isildur did not live for much longer.
The orcs spied him standing by the water and shot him with arrows. As the tales say, he breathed his last breath here in the Gladden Fields. I believe it happened on this very Eot, which is why these flowers bloom here still rather than the Gladdens that spring to life elsewhere in the fields. Simbulmune, they are called in Rohan, for they cover the grave mounds of many dead kings. And so Isildur at last met his end, betrayed by the ring and slain by his foes, before he could return to the lands he hoped to rule. But his tomb at Anumina stands empty, for his bones remain unfound to this day. I know where his bones are.
That is the end of the tale, and it has taken many years to piece it together.
Alright. How might things have transpired had Isildur not swam across the river to reach it? Agents of Sauron would have taken the ring from his body, and the Dark Lord's dominance would be all but assured. Be glad it was not so. The ring worked great evil on its course, but in the end, the actions of Isildur enabled its destruction these many years later. Alright, I'll return to the Bjorning Post and I resume my study of the Black Book. I'll meet you there, but before you return, pay a visit to Holtvist. They suffered greatly during the War of the Ring, and their efforts to rebuild and return to their lives to normal have not yet borne fruit. You say you've already lent your aid to the woodman? I know that. Do you think I would ask you to return without reason? If you have the good fortune to know Wizard, know that he would not be ignored. Go to Holtvist and ask me no more questions. Oh, Gandalf, why you gotta be so sassy? Alright. Ooh, a hidden cache. Probably full of nothing. Except vendor trash. Oh, I got a Duero Gleam. Well, that's nice. That's actually not trash, surprisingly. Hi. What are you doing? What are you doing, kitty kitty? He's comfy. He's also making my hand fall asleep. Yes, you're curled up on my hand. Come on, game. Let's go. Uh-oh, chat. Anybody else having similar trouble on Landy? Had a big lag spike. You just ported debris? Gabloosh, are you also on Landy? Or are you on another server? Lagging on Landy. Oh, poot. Your connection to the server has been lost. Alright, let's restart the game client. See if we can get back in. Right. Is there a big player base in this game? Well, depends on your definition of big. It's not World of Warcraft big, no. But we actually have an idea what the numbers are for the player base. Something along the lines of... let me dig up the numbers here. From the presentation sent to the new owners of Daybreak Games, they were doing monthly average users of 108,000, of which 41,000 were paying subscribers. While I restart my game client here. Because I just lost connection to Landy. Let me back in. Let us in. Let us in. And we didn't actually know those numbers until just the other day. Because when Enad Global 7 or EG7 announced they were acquiring Daybreak Games lock, stock, and barrel, they freaking published those numbers because they are legally required. Basically, it really depends on what you are looking at playing. If you are looking to play Lord of the Rings, this is your place. If you're looking to play an MMO that plays more or less kind of like WoW, this can also be your place. We're a relatively small community versus the World of Warcraft crew, but we do like to foster a helpful attitude amongst the official game channel, of which I am fortunate enough to stream on once a week. And we like to give things away when we can on the official channel. Alright, we're back in the river. Let's see. Let me resummon my archer. Alright, let's go! There's definitely enough folks around that you can do raids with. Some good raiding kins out there. There's some folks who do some PvMP, which is player versus monster player. A lot of folks just questing through the landscape like I'm doing right now. But I am actually the member of one of the larger and more friendly kinships in Lord of the Rings Online, the Lonely Mountain Band. We are primarily a music-based kinship. We do play music in-game. We are the hosts and organizers of a thing called Weatherstock, which is a big honkin' musical competition. Well, it was a competition back in the day, but a musical... hello, tree. Yes, we're gonna avoid the tree. And we're gonna not avoid the tree. Whoa. There we go. basically this big honkin' music concert hosted on the top of Weathertop. Heck of a lot of fun. There's also role-playing groups. Let's see. Delphon's in the other entrance to Holt List. And I am playing fairly recent content. This was from not the current expansion, the Small War of Three Peaks mini expansion, but the previous full one, which was Minas
Fortune must
Morgul.
smile on Hortvis for you to return to us so quickly.
Alright, well, it wasn't too quick. It caused one server down. Alright. From their prey by some apparition. No one in the village would wish for them in danger. They left the carcass behind. So we gotta go find this carcass. Or get some replacement heart flanks. Okay, well, shooting the local deer is something I do very well. I've already done some of that before. We'll do some more again. Hey, look, there's a couple of deer right there. So let's go get this one. Yeah, that counts. Flag use my shield brother. 'Cause I forgot to. Alright, need one more. You're a warg. You're a bunch of bees. You're a big honkin' tree. You're an orc. I think we'll find another deer up this way. See, there's one right here. Alright. We got some venison for you. Venison can be mighty tasty as well. Oh, you were the person I ran into earlier.
This is a surprise. I did not expect you to return to our village so soon.
Okay, good to fill the hole in our food stores. So Uruk fled. So there's got to be a reason for it.
before today, I would never have counted myself a coward. But
Creature I saw filled you with such terror, your blood ran cold and felt rooted to the spot to see it. At first I thought I beheld Vagari, the spectral wanderer of the Gladden, but nay, this was something else. I could still see its terrible visage. The apparition stood in the waters of the old ford, half across, and as this courage drained from me, I urged my son, Badwila, to leave our prey behind. Together we fled, and I could not bear to look behind me as we ran, for I expected to see the terrible creature close behind. Plus the fact that if you turn while you're running, you're more likely to trip and fall. Lesson, pro tip number 1 for anybody ever interested in horror movies. Hi. And this is a kitty cat. Again. See what you started, Teeny? Alright. Go in search of it. Go to the old fort to the northwest, but bring caution. Do not fear to flee as I did. The shame is hard to bear, but on this day at least I hold life more precious than honor. Okay. Your friend Titi Growl has come online. Oh, really? Now the big question is, am I gonna ding before the end of the show or not? I thought it was pretty much a given, but we're still a smidgen away from it. So it depends on how many more quests we go to continue, or if we actually complete a quest here. Oh, it's Karazgar! The Weeping Warrior. You got 3 clones up to level 60 from 5 from last week? Why? You're such a cuddle bug. Without his mask, of course.
I do not intend to harm you. I wish only to speak with you. You have nothing to fear from me. Not on this day.
Oh, spooky.
I just want to talk.
How would you go about getting that title for Noodly? Doesn't play in a band. Well, the title isn't for necessarily being in a band. So yeah, it doesn't really say. So yeah, either one will do. I got mine as part of, well, I actually wound up getting it because I was being a guinea pig for Cord, However, anybody could get one for donating to Cord's Extra Life. Well, anybody's Extra Life or Cord's Movember campaigns. Worst case scenario, honestly, you could just PM Cord and ask him for one. I'm not going to say he's going to give you one, but he's generally pretty straightforward about such. And he knows who you are, you know, so it's like, if you explain the situation, I'm sure he'll take it in under consideration, but I'm not going to speak for him because, you know, I can't guarantee it. However, let me check something real quick. Do I have? No, I only have concert-related titles I can hand out. He didn't give me artist codes. Wait, do I still have the rewards command set up? Hang on. No, I must have turned it off. Let me look on the forums real quick. I don't know why the forums are taking forever tonight. Let's see. Let's go to first. Watch the spinny, spinny, spinny. Okay. Yeah, basically, if one were to donate $10 to either Extra Life or his Movember campaign, you just send him a PM on the forum saying, "Hey, I donated $10. You can either donate to me or to him." Mine is extra-life.org/participant/druidsfire. Or you can go to /team SSG, I think it is. Or, what is it? /team/ It's not hard to find us. So that's one way to get it for sure. Alternatively, if that's not within anybody's means, you can just send them a PM and ask, but I cannot promise he would do that for nothing. But it doesn't hurt to ask. The worst he can do is say no. But I do know you're guaranteed the title account-wide. Either I have it as after my title, you can also, or after my name, you can also get a version instead of where it's before your title or before your name, whichever. So you just have to specify. But I can't speak to whether he'll just hand one out. Sorry. Ranger wants me to drop some knowledge. Okay, Ranger, what do you want me to drop knowledge about? Give me a topic, and I will tell you what I know. I will tell you something about what I know. Depends on how wide the topic is. What's going on, kitty? Fifi, Lord of the Rings. Oh my god. What do I know about Lord of the Rings? I know lots of things about Lord of the Rings. Hi. Hi. What are you doing, cat? Oh, goodness. Well, that's a wide topic, though. Anything specific about Lord of the Rings? Want to narrow it down a little bit for me here? Hi, kitty. Hello. Let me get off my horse while I think about this. How come we never see elf kids? That's actually a really good question. Why don't we see elf kids? Well, for one thing, he never wrote about them. Pretty much. Tolkien never actually wrote about any elf children. And it's actually something Professor Corey was talking about on his Grifflet stream yesterday when somebody was asking him a lore question about, or was it during exploring Lord of the Rings? No, I think it was yesterday. Where if you compare the lives of men and elves together, like a human's life would be like a firefly. You know, a light that goes on and then immediately goes off in like the blink of an eye. So, but an elf child could be hundreds of years old. I mean, Arwen was considered an adult, right? But a young adult compared to her father, who was, you know, from the first age. And, like, you know, the twins, Eladan and Elro here, were considered young. I mean, they weren't, like, teenagers in terms of maturity. Though, with the, you know, the recent Bombadil server, I kind of wondered about that. But the reason we never see elf children is Tolkien never wrote about any. He really didn't write about many children. I mean, the most prominent children that we ever see in the books were Sam's. Right? Eleanor. Well, Chromite, that's also true. Though this male elf archer herald of mine does like to, you know, get a little bit too close into my personal space. But yeah, that's pretty simple. It's how come you never see elf kids? He didn't write any. We know they existed. I mean, we heard in the Silmarillion about Elros and Elrond being, you know, hostages. You know, as they were young, but we don't know their exact. I don't think we know exact. Clones don't need mirrors. TD, you silly. Yeah, he never wrote about any. I mean, the closest we have to an elf child is actually a child, you know, Eldarion, who's not an elf, was accorded of the race of men, even though his mother was elven and his father was human. What about when they're eyebrow plucking? Oh, well, you know. Do they really need to pluck eyebrows, or were they just, you know, born naturally awesome like that? We do not need to spill blood. He does kind of look like Harvey Dent from the Batman series, like, you know, Two-Face. We could fight him? I don't think we're gonna fight him. Not yet. I'll ask, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna necessarily believe you, dude. Okay, what can you say of the Gurzoil? Why do you want the Black Book? Why would I ever aid you? I have no questions for you. But tell me of the Gurzoil. It was in the Second Age that Sauron learned a truth that had escaped him. Well, we know about things that escape him. Yeah, because even the Balrog in Khazad-dûm and the nameless things that gnaw at the bones of the earth. You should have flocked to a barber, dude. Look at that hairstyle. Dulgabeth, Ugrikor, Urdani. Yeah, we killed most of them, didn't we? Rukor, Nulbanath, Mothgorod, Gesundheit, and I. Greatest of them all. Come on, that's a bit egotistical, isn't it? Bull Foxbite made us ageless and deathless. Except if you're mortal men. You cannot override the doom, the gift of Eru. Wait, promise by whom? Well, they started it. And the gifts of... Hello, dude. I am an elf. Of course I did my people's bidding. Duh. I didn't name myself that. Come on. I don't think so. I'm prettier than you. All he wants is for me to give him the black book, and he will deal death to my enemies. Made of lions. Is this... Are we gonna get Karazgar as an ally if we give him the black book in the epilogue? Because that would be kind of cool. Alright. Okay, I will bring you the black book. I refuse. I will make you my prisoner. I will kill you where you stand. Well, I'm going to refuse. Yep. I'm a disappointment to many people. It's fine. I'm used to it. Change your mind, bring it to me here, to this flat stone back there. I'll leave you unharmed while my patience lasts. Yeah, screw your patience, dude. It will not last forever. Well, dude, I need Turgan. Shut up. Someone comes. I must be gone. Oh! Run away, little chicken. That. They did fix it. You see what I see? Remember the first time I played through this? He had a long staff in his hand. We're like, that can't be the scepter of Illuminus. But this looks like the scepter of Illuminus. Dude, get out of the way, man. They fixed Elrond's model. Thank you, Standing Stone, for fixing his model. But why would you have it out in the open, Lord Elrond? I am baffled by you. But however, I'm also older than you. Hello. But you do kind of fine, looking pretty good in that elven traveling attire. And of course, Lady Arwen, looking amazing as usual, and not wearing traveling attire. With much of your household across the mountains by way of the high pass for the marriage of my daughter awaits us in Gondor. I might have been there. Aragorn Elisar has claimed the crown of that land. It is Arwen's wish and his that they marry. She will remain by his side forever. Not exactly. I know the way of hard choices, and this is hers to make. Glorfindel accompanies us, as do many others of my folk. Some will attend Arwen at the wedding. Others there are who desire to see the lands beyond Ilmadris one last time before departing this Middle Earth. Makes me sad. All are welcome for such an occasion should be made as happy as can be, and hearts make for more merrier times. We travel light, but not without goods and gifts. I myself bring the scepter of Illuminus. It will be a gift for the King Elisar, for his by right. It is my own desire that this journey be full of cheer for my daughter's benefit, but this land holds only sorrow for me. I will be happy to leave it. I understand there is a pleasant house nearby, in which we might find lodging. It was the home of Bjorn the Skin Changer, and is kept now by his son, is it not? Okay. The reason Elrond... Okay, let's think on why Elrond thinks this land holds sorrow for him. Okay. Because wasn't his wife Celebrian attacked through the passes down by Khazad-dûm, not this far north, right? Because she was traveling back home from Lothlorien, because of course Celebrian is the daughter of Galadriel and Celeborn. So... the family trees are very bizarre. But the humans and elven ones have have nothing on the family trees of hobbits.
I knew that Elrond and much of his household would be making the journey.
Why do you think I suggested doubling the quantities of each errand Grimbjorn requested that you complete for my own amusement? Well, yeah. Nay, additional benefit, my friend.
Speak to Elrond and learn how his company fared during their passage of the mountains.
Alright, and we'll talk to all three of them and get a class trait point. Yes! And we'll get a cloak upgrade. Yes, I don't have any essences. Alright, we'll do that. So we'll talk to Lord Elrond first.
It is good to see you outside the confines of my library. Forever it seemed I found you there.
That is Standing Stone being a smartass. Because, of course, we quested so often and visited Elrond so many times at his library. My path was clear. Passage of the mountains much easier than it has been in times in the past. It has balmed on my heart to find it so. Alright. We'll stay a while at the Bjorninghus. Gandalf has assured me my household will be welcome, that you will speak to Grim Bjorn, the Lord of the Bjornings, on my behalf. Wait, what? I am vouching for Lord Elrond? What? Well, okay. To be fair, I am of higher pedigree than Lord Elrond, because he is half-elven and I'm not. However, I don't hold high rank like he does. I kind of slept for the past 3,000 years. Alright, let us go. Talk to Lord Glorfindel. The once in future elf who's not dead.
The mountain passes have not always been as safe as we found them on this journey.
Oh, okay, so here it is. This was the Misty Mountain. Okay, so the path Celebrian took through the mountains isn't as relevant as the fact it was through the mountains. Okay. Okay, source of grief, for it is in the Misty Mountains that Celebrian, Arwen's mother, was captured by the orcs, so Arwen will never see her mother again. Never. At least her mother doesn't have to deal with that bitter parting, because it's already happened. Alright. With an abundance of caution. That is a phrase written two years ago? A year ago? Yeah, it was a year ago. How many people, abundance caution was like all over every freaking email you got from like the end of February until like the middle of June this year? Alright. Alright, life is good for you. Arwen has changed into reasonable traveling attire. I really adore this outfit of hers. It's elegant, it's pretty, but it still is sensible. Unlike the attire she was wearing in the instance. And she also has this little necklace I really like. It's not as elegant or as fancy as the one in the movies, but they can't use anything from the movies anyway. Alright. And by midsummer we will toll the wedding bells throughout the kingdom. Oh yes. I hope you'll attend my wedding. I kind of already did. I understand you have been a help to all Middle-earth and apparently a time traveler. And it's dear wish that you be there with us. We ask the Lord of the... Oh, right! Will you ask the Lord of the Bjornings to attend? This is why Bjorn was at the freaking wedding. Right, Thief? Alright. See, Maid of Lions, you are a sneaky boy. Hi, kitty. Hi, kitty.
This is what happens when I open my door to a wizard.
See, that's kind of one of the reasons, hi Bookworm, that I wanted to go back and do the quest, and to having played through the story at least once, I wanted to go back and actually focus on it. And, you know, check the nuances and see where Maid of Lions planted all these hooks that he then brought into future content because he's a sneaky devil. I love that guy. He's the best. Now, an elf lord and his household taking up residence at my humble home. What? Do I wish to attend the wedding of the elf maiden and the king of Gondor? Bah! Do you think an invitation will remedy these irritations and inconveniences? They might have consulted with me before they're out. You see, he doesn't like surprises. Sometimes I don't either.
Grimbeorn is free to tell them they are not welcome, but I do not recommend it.
But the Lord of the Bjornings surely knows better than to risk the ire of an elf lord, let alone several. He knows not to risk the ire of an elf maid planning for her wedding, for that way may lie his truest danger. But I return now to the study of the Black Book of Mordor. I will let you know when I've discovered anything further. So I get a cloak that's an upgrade. Awesome sauce. Meow. Meow.
The darkness has settled upon the vales of Ungreen.
Ding! Looks like the troll got bored. There was a troll. Where was the troll? Was there a troll in game? All right. All right. So this is the interlude, The Shades in the Swamp, which we are going to do. Not tonight. All right. I'm going to take this quest. I have a class trait point. And now that I have 2, I can spend them. Up Yorning with an AoE heal spamming. Yeah, report him and move on. Report him and ignore. Okay, so I'm going to tactical damage. Ooh, tactical damage. +1 melee damage, also good. Rallying cry damaging buff. Tactical damage, outgoing healing. Blood of Numenor. I'm high elf. I predate Numenor. +4 words of courage healing. I think that's rallying cry. Muster courage. Except I don't have words of courage, do I? I have a kitty. I have a kitty. Got your tail. I think I'm actually... I am actually going to go with... Let's go with... That's a +1 healing modifier. I'm gonna go with Dignified Spectre because the melee damage will be... I can use tactical and melee damage. So I'll go with that. Alright. Before I do that though... Yeah, that'll be fine. Alright, and it despawned my dude, but that's okay. Alright, it is 10 after 11 at midnight. The BBB will be playing out front of the Prancing Pony, and it should be fun time, so I'm going to go head out to that. I'm going to go put my cloak on. I'm also going to sell my stuff. Browse the shop. Let's repair all... Hey, look, I don't even have anything to repair. Nice. Because I've got this subscriber buff on. Yes. Alright. I'm going to save those. Save those. Yeah, those aren't going to be any good. Oh, hey, here's an essence. Not horribly useful. Here's another essence. Actually would be useful. I mean, even if it's, you know, minor, not minor. Search the cloak. Save that. This is the inventory management portion of the show. We're going to actually go back to Bree. We're going to get rid of this. I'm gonna stop by the, well, thing about the moats is I don't want to spend them when I'm at like 123. And when I know I'm gonna get a whole bunch of quest gear, like the 400 quest gear from Minas Morgul. So, Anyway, I think I'm gonna call it right here. I'm gonna go to Bree and hang out though. So let me go ahead and port on back. Oh, it's HHH tonight, so okay. I'm gonna go hang out with TD because hanging out with TD is always fun. However, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break while things settle down. I'm gonna go hop onto my favorite thing right here. Look at all these names. There we go. Someone just got fish slapped. Someone got fish slapped again. Look, it's TD! I'm gonna hug TD first. Hey, look! Look! It's Teeny! I'm gonna turn the names off. That way you can see the one I'm actually poking at. So who all is here? Who do I know? There's Tokley. There's Finny. Pippi. Mugwumper. Larilos. Don't know Zendi. That's fine. Wait, there's Tierna. Starberry. Katerica. I don't know Craikwith. Tarf. All my friends. Danny. All my friends. And of course, Animal House is playing right now at the Pony. I don't even know. That's Night Magic's band and Wicked's. Night Magic and Wicked. So, thank you all for being here. I will be back on Monday night. Same bat time, same bat channel. Let me go take a look and see if there is anybody we can raid. Let me see here. Nobody amongst my follow channels playing Lotro.
Well met.
Ah! What was that? Oh no, we just got a raid and we're just about to go to... We're just about to raid somebody. Dang it. Because it's past my stream time. Alright. Let's see who else is playing Lotro. Well, there's somebody... Looks like they're PvPing. I don't know any of these people playing Lotro. I'll sort by recommended for you. How about sort by all? Oh, you can now sort a game title by recommended for you. Viewers high to low, viewers low to high, and recently started. Interesting. So I didn't know that. But welcome, raiders. Well, I don't see any Lotro people to raid that I know. You were just gonna suggest to raid Manolis? Yeah, well, hey, I can break this news because Cord broke this news in Slack earlier today. Manolis is going to be the latest and greatest member of the Lotro stream team. Welcome to the pool party, pal. So, you should be getting an invite from Cord. Actually, you should have the invite, because he said he invited you tonight at 8:40, so... it was less than 3 hours ago, and the fact that Cord posted in Slack on a freaking Saturday, that never happens. And I understand that you're looking to be streaming on Saturday, so that'll be cool. Alright. Well... We're gonna call it here. I apologize for the raid and run, but I He did send the invite, so yeah. If you join Slack, talk to Elda. She'll get you set up on the calendar and all the other fun stuff when you pick your times and get everything settled. And Cord will get you moderated and all the other fun stuff that has to be done to get you in the pool party. And then we look forward to your stream. And of course, Elda, Wayward Plane, Southern Belle, and myself tend to keep an eye on Twitch chat, even if we don't necessarily look like we are, but we do. Because we're horrible people like that. Anyway. Alright. What can we do? Yeah. Because I was going to actually watch the BB... Well, the BBB aren't playing tonight. Apparently, the HHH, which are the Hobbit version of the band. Of a... Holy crap. What was that goat? Did you see that goat with like 1 million horns on it? Right there. Look at that. Do you need 5 million horns on your goat? Or, oh, oh, whatever. I think I've seen that player running around, actually. But anyway, we are looking forward to your first stream. And it should be all kinds of fun and enjoyable laughter. However, I'm going to go feed the cats before Thief murders me. Except he's now sleeping on his chair next to me. However, it is the time where I feed the kitties their midnight snack. And who is beating up on that hobbit over there? Poor Mugwumper. Oh, it's blackening. Never mind. That's one thing about the music committee. There's always personalities, like, things are happening. It's like, oh, it's because it's that person. Like, if there's talk about bunnies, it's always Finson. Or if it's talk about people being naughty or who you're going to blame for something, it's always Placo. Who's getting, who's tickling everybody? That's me, Azine, especially if the subject is a hobbit. All right. So, I'm going to cut out. And again, I will be back here on Monday. Toss me a follow if you haven't done so already. That way you can see when I go live. And then there's Primini. Primini is in a world of her own. Yeah. And of course, if you're talking about smelly people, then you've got Runt. Poor Runt. I think somebody just played like a bassoon nearby. Yeah. And occasionally you might actually see me in game wearing this very same outfit, by the way. Not looking like I'm in a monster movie. Look at that. Yeah. For this is the official uniform of a band called Indigo Plant, which I am the sole owner and proprietor of, and sometimes I play music. Most of which was arranged by TD herself. Some of which was Master Ag did one of the songs I played. He sent me one. And some of the other stuff I have is from the Lonely Mountain Band, because I'm in the Lonely Mountain Band. Yay. In fact, I'm an officer in the band, and I'm happy to be the most useless officer they have. The officer that does the least amount. But anyway, everybody have a good weekend. The rest of your weekend. Tomorrow I will be right here. Not on stream, but I will be literally right there next to Dob and his C-word, the Proudfoots, watching and doing an ensemble playing right there on that stage, led by the inimitable, the amazing, the lovely Hollyberry, and dancing hopefully with Killam and or one of Killam's alts, and hanging out with TD, and yeah, we're gonna have fun. So be good, and if you can't be good and you can't be TD, right, then be good at it, okay? I will see you next time.